secret. Today we are making some massage bars that you can make from home, also known as solid body butters in my shop, but commonly known as lotion bars around the world. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some different shaped molds, and the reason we're using 4 different ones is because we're actually going to do 4 different massage bars. So we've got a lovely rose design here and a sunflower design. Both of those molds are from siliconmolds.com, but they're a very common silicone mold that you'll easily be able to get around the world. If you just type in sunflower silicone mold or rose silicone mold, something will pop up in your country. If you pop it in Google search and just search it. We'll also be doing some massage bars with these heart silicone molds. Now those I bought a long time ago from a shop. Can't remember what shop, but again, if you want some heart silicone molds, just type into Google search heart silicone molds. And I've got these really cute cupcake designs here, which I absolutely love. And I haven't actually made any massage bars, have I? I'm not sure if I've made any massage bars with them before. So the ingredients you're going to need are really simple. We've got some cocoa butter here, and you can see how it's quite a coarse granular. This is what cocoa butter looks like when you chop into it, and because it has that grainy granular type finish to it, you need something to counteract that, because you want your lotion bar or massage bar, you want it to have a smooth finish. So to get that smooth finish, we're going to add some shea butter. This is refined shea butter we've got here, and you don't want to spoil the recipe too much, because cocoa butter and shea butter has a fantastic slip on the skin, and if you add too much beeswax, that slip is going to disappear. I know a lot of people add carrier oils and everything to their massage bars, and they make fantastic massage bars, but the more liquid and soft oils you add to your cocoa butter, the more beeswax you need to add to counteract that. So I want to make a massage bar that has quite low beeswax in today. So we'll just have a look at the beeswax. I like to use white beeswax rather than the yellow, and beeswax is much better to use in massage bars. I have tried soy wax before, but because a lot of soy waxes can have frosting issues, that will also make your massage bar have frosting issues. So beeswax, I think, is the best wax to add into your massage bar, but there's many different waxes you can use if you don't want to use an animal derived beeswax. Okay, if you want it to be totally vegan, you can use jojoba wax or other things like that. So I've got some stunning fragrances for you today. We're actually using, all of these are dupes of designer fragrances. So we're using Bonbon. We're using Bonbon is from not Soap Supplier. Bonbon is from the Soap Kitchen. We're also using Good Girl, which is from Oasis Oils. We're using La Belle, which is La Vie Est Belle. That's also from Oasis Oils. And Angel's Halo. Angel's Halo is exactly the same as the Angel fragrance that I've been using all these years that everybody loves. I actually think this one is a little bit stronger than the version I used to buy. So maybe it's been made stronger for Oasis Oils, I don't know. Okay, let's get down to it. Let's get some massage bars made You're going to need some jugs to melt your oils in and spoon to stir. But more or less that's it. We're going to use some rosebuds just for the angel hearts, and let's get making some massage bars, shall we? One of the easiest products to make and also one of the nicest. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to clean our pots and knives and our work surface down with some rubbing alcohol, just to make sure everything's nice and sanitized. Be very careful when you're doing anything with a knife that you don't cut yourself. Make sure you do your work surface down as well, because we're actually going to be chopping some of the cocoa butter and shea butter on the work surface. So let's chop up some cocoa and shea butter, shall we? So this recipe is different to the recipe that you saw me use last year, where I did add a carrier oil. This time I'm not adding a carrier oil. So we're going to start off, and I'm making a larger quantity this time, and I know I need at least 2 kilos of liquid. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do 80% cocoa butter, 10% shea butter and 10% beeswax, and I think that'll work very, very well. Also, they'll set up a bit quicker as well because the oils are solid. So I'm going to weigh, I don't think I'll get 1.8 kilos of cocoa butter into here because this is a 2-litre container, and when your butters or any ingredients are chopped up into chunks, you can't actually, basically the cocoa butter needs to be melted so you can fill your pot up. So all I'll do, actually that's on mils, so that's not good. Just need to change the unit to grams. Just pop those chunks of cocoa butter into your container, and then you can just fill it up. Make a note of how much cocoa butter you've got in there, but if you don't, it doesn't matter, because if you've got 2 jugs, you can weigh a jug that doesn't have any liquid in it, see what that is, and then put your jug with your melted cocoa butter back on the scale, and you'll know exactly how much you've got in there. So I'm just putting as much as I can possibly get in here. We've got about 1 kilo in there at the moment, and 1 kilo 70 we've got. So I'm going to pop that in the microwave, and then when that's melted I can actually add some more cocoa butter into the liquid to melt. Okay, so what we've got in the container is we have 1.6 kilos of cocoa butter. We've got 200 grams of white beeswax, and then we'll add 200 grams of shea butter, but we'll melt the beeswax and the cocoa butter together first, which you can do in a double boiler or a microwave on 30-second or 1-minute increments. When it's melted and nice and warm, then you can just add your 200 grams of shea butter into the mixture and allow that to dissolve on its own, because if you melt it in the microwave and it gets too hot, it gets grainy. I'm sure you all know that by now, but just in case you don't, I thought I'd let you know again. Right, so we're going into the microwave. So as you can see here, the cocoa butter melts at a lower temperature than the beeswax, and that's why we still have granules of beeswax in there. If you want to, you can melt them separately and then add your beeswax, but I tend not to do that, as you can see. So I just, as I said before, I do it on 30-second or 1-minute increments, and I take the jug out, give it a stir, and then I'll pop it back in for another minute until we're getting very close to seeing that all of those granules are, till we're getting very close and we can see that all those beeswax pellets are melted, because they do need to be fully melted. Otherwise you're just going to have cocoa butter with chunks of beeswax, and you don't want that. You want the beeswax absorbed all the way through all the molecules of the cocoa butter. So it's going back in the microwave. Okay, so all of our beeswax and cocoa butter is melted in that jug. Yes, it looks like there are a few little bits that aren't, but when you stir it around in that lovely heat, all those little molecules will melt. So now we need some shea butter, but we've got so much in our container that we can't actually fit any shea butter. We can, but I don't want to overflow the jug. So I'm going to split this into two, and I'm going to put 100 grams of shea butter into one container and 100 grams of shea butter into the other. Just giving it a spray with some rubbing alcohol again. And when you've got a great big full container like this, it's not easy to pour straight from that jug into this jug, so I'm going to get a ladle. Now if you haven't got a ladle that is specific to use for your soap making, i.e. basically using fragrance oils, you're okay to use your kitchen ladle, because there's no fragrance oil at all in here yet, and it's the fragrance that taints any of your utensils, and because it's metal it makes it a little bit easier to clean and get anything off there that you want to. So I've just given it a stir again, so just to make sure everything is mixed in well. And then we're just going to take our ladle and we're going to pour that mixture into the other jug. Will I spill any? I don't know. We'll find out. I love the smell of cocoa butter, it's gorgeous. It's so widely used in cooking as well these days, especially for desserts. Do you know something I didn't know? I was watching a program about pretzels, and did you know they actually use lye to coat pretzels before they cook them. And then I've been reading up a lot about moisturizers, and a lot of these top brand moisturizers actually put sodium hydroxide into their moisturizers, and I'm like, why on earth would you need to put sodium hydroxide into a moisturizer? There is no other reason than it reduces the pH, and I'm still thinking, why would you put it in? But anyway, that's just a little bit of trivia for you. Okay, so I've divided those two containers into the exact same quantity. We've got a kilo or a litre. It says a litre on the side of the jug, so we've got a litre in here and a litre in here. And we're going to put 100 grams of shea butter into this jug and 100 grams into that jug. So just pop your jug onto your scale, turn it on, and we're just going to cut little bits of cocoa butter until, no, we're cutting little bits of shea butter into that warm mixture, and we need 100 grams in this one. That's 40 grams. You don't need any parabens or preservatives or anything like that in a solid body butter massage bar, because it doesn't contain any water. So it's a beautiful paraben free recipe. There we are, exactly 100 grams in there. Just tear that. So our total shea butter is 200 grams in that whole recipe that we've just done. And I'll check the temperature in a second. When you're getting down to the last few granules, just make your quantities a little bit smaller. It's so good for your skin. And then just take your whisk and give it a stir. You don't need to whisk it up. The whisk is just to stir it, not whisk it. And what we'll do is we'll just keep stirring both of these until all of that shea butter has dissolved. Let's just check the temperature. Oh, the batteries keep moving in this thing. So it's only at 66 degrees centigrade. So we might want to warm it up for another minute or whatever, because that shea butter is going to bring the temperature down. We still need to add our fragrance oil, and if we're going to add any colours, we'll need to add the colours as well. So I might just, once the shea butter is melted, I might just warm these up a little bit. And then this is going to need dividing into 4 because we're making 4 different massage bars. And once we get to separating them into 4, I'm going to use a heat safe Pyrex jug, just because the lip for pouring is absolutely fantastic. But I will warm the jug up a little bit, because when you're adding warm solid oils into a cold jug, the solid oils can just stick to the side of the jug and solidify really quick. And if you keep your Pyrex jug nice and warm, that won't happen. And we're just going to add the shea butter that we haven't used back into its packet. I did cook far too much, didn't I? Just make sure you seal the top so nothing can fall into that bag. And then that's going to go back to its home, somewhere cool below 25 degrees in the house. Okay, so we're starting off with Angel first, because I'm not putting any colour into the Angel. Angel perfume is blue, but blue doesn't work very well in a solid body butter. Good Girl, it's also like a navy blue, the bottle, but it does have a gold heel, so I think I'll do the Good Girl in gold. La Vie est Belle is a pale pink, and Bonbon is a vibrant pink. So I'm going to use fluorescent pink for the La Vie est Belle, just a little bit, nice pale pink. And the vibrant pink, I'm actually going to use, I think the neon purple will be a really good option. Now I've got 1200 grams of butter in this jug, which I've actually warmed through in the microwave for another 2 minutes just to get it nice and warm. We'll just check the temperature. We're at 80, so I'm going to dispense. Also, I've heated my Pyrex jug up for a minute and a half. I'm going to pour the mixture, and as you can see, because the jug isn't full, the plastic jug isn't full to the brim, you can actually pour really well out of these Stewart jugs neatly without spilling any. So massage bars tend to be 100 grams or less, so having 600 grams in there, I know that I'm going to get 6 massage bars, which is what I'm aiming for. This is the fragrance going in. Check the usage level in your country, wherever you are, for how much fragrance you're allowed to add. Your fragrance oil supplier should be able to tell you that, or especially in the UK or EU, your safety assessment will tell you how much fragrance you're allowed to add. So just like when we're making wax melts, we're just gonna let this sit. You don't want to add your fragrance too hot because it'll burn off. And as you can see, there's nothing burning off in this fragrance. If it burns off, you'll see a vapor coming up off the mixture when you've added the fragrance oil. And each fragrance oil has a different flash point. I know flash points, it talks about a lit flame, but actually a flash point to me is, I know someone's going to correct me in the comments, but to me a flash point is if you add the fragrance too hot into too hot a mixture, that vapor that comes off, that can easily catch fire. Plus it just burns all your fragrance off, which is useless because you'll end up with not a very good fragrance content in your solid body butter. So I'm just going to let that sit for another minute, and this part isn't like a wax melt. You don't need to let it cool down to 60 before you pour. We shouldn't get any frosting issues with this because this is cocoa butter, shea butter and beeswax. So fingers crossed we get no frosting issues. I'll let you know when we get to the temperature that I want it to be at, what temperature it is when we pour. Okay, our temperature is at 68 degrees centigrade. So that's the temperature I'm going to pour at. And I'm hoping I get 6 out of this, which I'm absolutely sure I will. I've made them enough times to know. Now, putting the rosebuds in, that gets a little bit complicated because you need to let the bars set somewhat before you put the massage bars, before you put the rosebuds in. Otherwise they'll just sink to the bottom, and I want them to stay on the top. I'm not going to get a full one there, but that's okay. I can use that one. And then as usual, we're just going to scrape the jug, because you can get quite a bit out of a jug that's still left in there. And then I'm not going to clean it out, I'm just going to give it a wipe with some kitchen roll. And that keeps the jug nice and warm to start the next one. So obviously this butter in here will have cooled down somewhat, so we can work a little bit faster with this one. If you just give your jug a rub out with the kitchen roll, it's less, you know, it's less difficult to wash the containers up. When you're washing anything that's got oil in it, you need quite a bit of dish soap to get rid of it. So if you try and wipe the excess off, make life just a little bit easier. Right, where we're going to put the next one. So I thought Bonbon could go in the cupcake molds. La Vie est Belle. Does that sound more like a rose to you? Or does Bonbon definitely doesn't. Good Girl. Well, let's have a smell. I think Good Girl's more floral. quite green actually. Good girl. It's quite floral as well. They're both gorgeous, those. The VS Belle is very, very popular. So I think we'll go for Good Girl. Actually, which one was I going to do gold? I'm going to do the Good Girl gold. So yeah, that can go in the sunflower mould. And the VS Belle can go in the rose mould. And this one we're going to do gold, aren't we? Hey, wake up, Karen. What you doing? Good Girl is gold, so that's going in the sunflower. The VS Belle is pale pink, so that's going in the rose mould here. And we just need some lovely bright gold mica. I'll just move those to the side for now. So we're just going to put about a teaspoonful in there. Have I got it the wrong way around? Oh, I have. I've done it the wrong way around. No, I haven't. Good Girl's the gold, but it's not going in the rose. That's it. Good Girl has a gold heel, so we've got a gold colour here. I'll add the fragrance. It's the mould I got mixed up. We're going to do the sunflower mould. So you can see, this is the rest of the body butter that we made up before that we split off. That needs to go in the microwave. So I'll probably put that in the microwave to 2 to 3 minutes. And we're at 60 degrees on this one for the pour, so let's pour them, shall we? This is a really deep mould, the sunflower, so I tend not to fill it all the way to the top. There's a bit of a lip where the design finishes and the silicone mould starts. So it's just like a smooth lip around there, so I just fill it to where that lip is. And so what you're going to do is you're going to allow these to set up somewhat, well, basically fully set up, and then you can put them in the fridge. If you're in a hurry, put them on a tray before you pour them, and then you can get them straight in the fridge to cool down. So you can see we've got a little bit of mica in the bottom there. Again, we're just going to take a paper towel. That is nice. That definitely smells like a perfume store. When you walk in a department store and you get that wonderful fragrance coming out. If you like that, I do. In fact, I think it was my first addiction. going into perfume shops, because I couldn't afford to buy perfume when I was a kid. But I would go in and spray. Loved it. Right, so that's the Le Vie Est Belle done. Next we're going to do the Good Girl in the rose molds, and we're going to add a little bit of that pale pink. Well, it's actually neon pink pigment. That's what we're going to add to it, but we're just going to add a little bit so that we just get a nice pale pink massage bar. Okay, now it's time to do the Good Girl. So I'm just, as before, going to add 600 mils of the mixture into this container. I'm going to add the fragrance in there. And then we're going to need some colour in there as well. So I've got some of that neon pink mica pigment from Mineral Makeup Ingredients mixed in with some carrier oil. And I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of that into there. This, I'm going to use the whisk to stir it, but we'll probably need your hand blender. It's actually mixing in quite well, so you might not need a hand blender for this. Just going to add a few drops more. I am going to blend it because that's usually what I do, and I just want to be safe rather than sorry. So keep your blender close by. You don't need to blend it too much. Just a pump action. And when you put it on your work surface like that, you'll see what colour it's setting. Some of it's setting already. So it is a nice pale pink, and that's exactly what I want. Just take my whisk again. Set out my moulds. So you can see there's a little bit of froth on the top. That's why you don't want to blast it too much, because it will get rather frothy. I've never used rubbing alcohol on the top of a body butter before. Dare I have a go and see what happens? Oh, it worked. 2 spritz there, but I'm going to give it a stir again, just to make sure all that's mixed in properly. Okay, so let's pour those, shall we? Now the rose mould is a little more difficult to get it level. You don't want too much colour in a massage bar, because if you put too much colour in, when you rub it on your body, it's just going to be bright pink or whatever. So you're better off with more pastel colours. I have done a green before, and that actually worked quite well. Again, that was the neon pigment that I used to use. So I'm just going to top those up, because again, let's just give that one a rub out to get rid of any excess fragrance and oil in there. And then we're going to get straight into the bonbon. Now we'll be okay here just to use the jug that's got the leftovers in. And this mould, it's actually got 8 compartments, so I shouldn't need 2 of those. Add in the fragrance. And then this is the neon purple mica. Again, just mix with some carrier oil. Just put one. It's a bit, yeah, it's not showing much colour, that. Might need 3 actually. Might need more. That's better. Okay, again, like before, I'm just going to give that a blend, little blast with the blender. That colour's pretty spot on actually to the real thing, but it won't set as dark as what it looks. Oh, won't set as dark as what it looks in that container. So I can see at the moment that the angel ones look like they're ready for their rosebuds, but I'm going to pour this first. This mould, each mould is different. Well, there's 2 of each design. I think it's 2 of each design in here. Whoops, looks like these ones are deeper, so they're going to be heavier. It's weird because they look smaller, don't they? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of my measuring spoons and I'm going to take a little bit out of each one to fill the one up that's short. Like so. So that's those done. Now we're just going to add those rosebuds. Hopefully it's spot on time to add the rosebuds. I'm just going to tip a few in my hand like so and just place them perfectly on the top. So that butter just wants to be a little bit soft, but so it's soft enough but hard enough so that it suspends those rosebuds, otherwise they'll fall in. If you go too far and you've let them set up too much, what you can actually do is take a heat gun and just heat the top of the massage bar and then stick your rosebuds in. I mean, you might find it easier if you do it that way. Try not to stick them in with the point of the rosebud down into the body butter, because when someone's using the body butter, I always suggest that people use it, rub it on from the opposite side, like the back. Don't rub the rose side onto your skin because it's got the rosebuds and it won't be very comfortable. So if you start from the other side and you don't stick the spikes in so they're sticking down, these rosebuds though, they're not spiky like some rosebuds are. They have a nice round bottom on them, so they're pretty good for this job. I'm not putting any in my spare. So you can use that massage bar all the way through and then get to the point where the rosebuds are and just take them out. Or you can take them out as soon as you get them. They'll make nice decorations in the bath if you want to do it that way. Okay, that's all of our massage bars made now. We're going to let those cool and set, and because of the beeswax in there, they'll set up fairly quickly. I don't mean within an hour, it will take longer than an hour. And then once they're properly set, then we can move them into the fridge to set up really well, ready for unmolding. They do like to go in the fridge, just like a wax melt does. They like to go in the fridge so they can get really cool and set. If you put them in the freezer, just the same length of time, half an hour. Well, it depends how many you're putting in there, but say try 15 minutes if you're just putting one tray of massage bars in the freezer. Set your timer so you make sure you don't go over, because if you do go over, they'll all split and crack. One good thing with massage bars, you can remelt them and remake them. If you do that, just be careful not to overheat. And that's it for now. We'll come back when it's time to unmold after they've come out of the fridge, and you'll see how beautiful these products are. I absolutely adore them. I hope you do too, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so these have been in the fridge overnight. I'll just wrap some cling film around them so they don't taint the food that's in there. And then just makes it easier to carry them and keep them level. Just putting a piece of cardboard in between each one. I don't know what's happened to that one, but we're lucky because I actually only need 20 of these. But all I need to do, I'm wondering if someone's tried to move it while it's been in the fridge. With this one, I can just get the heat gun and run it over the top of there. And there we have a lovely, perfect massage bar that smells delicious. Pink's come out beautiful, hasn't it? Might just run a bit of mica over the top of these roses. It really does make all the difference popping those in the fridge to unmold, and you end up with a clean unmold in your silicone mold as well. The sunflower could have done with a bit more gold in. It might not be a sunflower, this one, it might be a marigold. but we'll see. When I put the links in the description, I'm sure it'll tell you what shape it is on siliconmolds.com, if they've still got them. And this one is the bonbon. Some cute designs in that mould. I hope I can find a link to this one for you to pop in the description box, but I know when I bought these were the only two I could find. I've only got two of them. Right, so let's put a little bit of mica on some of them. I'll just start off with a little bit of gold on these ones. And rather than going darker on the rose, I'm actually going to go lighter. With satin gold. It's not too gold. That's the satin gold from Mineral Makeup Ingredients. It's absolutely gorgeous, that one. Love it. It's so pale. Guess you could do it with a blusher brush if you haven't got a paint brush. Probably be quicker as well. These ones. I'll try Duo Hot Pink from Micah Mama. Blush. And there you go. There we have our gorgeous massage bars all ready to use. No curing time needed, but they do cure, and so anyone that's been begging me to get the massage bars back up, here you go. We've got 4 gorgeous ones. Of course I've had to add the Angel in again because it's always been our best seller, and I just thought 4 new fragrances would be time to move on. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you very soon for another video from Eden's Secret. Bye bye for now.